Here we are in early September 2024, and we're at the Saguenay, Canada Air Defense Museum. Now, obviously, Canadian air defense was augmenting the North American air defense system of the United States. But here, Canada played a vital role in helping to guard against foreign aircraft coming across the northern section of the globe, whether it be coming over the Arctic, coming from Greenland, or they're coming there over Alaska. There, Canada was certainly an area that would have to be crossed. Now, this Air Defense Museum goes way back to the First World War and shows how Canada played a part not only in the First World War, but a major part in the Second World War. And here we see a series of interesting exhibits. And of course, Canada also played a major part in the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. And here, this kind of started really to heat up in the late 1950s and all through the 60s, the 70s, and there into the mid-80s. Now, obviously, the Canadian Air Force was rather small, but really, if you think about it, it was just augmenting its ally there to the south, the United States. And here, certainly, Canada was on the front line, because obviously any attack very possibly would come across Canada's territory. Now, as we venture through the building, we see all of these various exhibits, and they're celebrating different heroes there of the eras there from the First, the Second, and into the Cold War. There we're going from the early propeller biplanes to the jet aircraft. And certainly Canada was very much involved in a part of this. And here we are celebrating many of the Canadian officers that played major parts there in the history of Canadian air defense. And certainly it covers quite a wide time frame. And there we're getting ready to well, of course, here we see some of the early biplanes and some of the early sections of the air defense era, and quite an array of exhibits. Yes. Now, there's an outside section that we're going to visit. We mustn't forget the movie first, and Breaking the Sound Barrier, and certainly Canada did have many examples of jet aircraft that could fly faster than the speed of sound. And here we walk outside and take a look at some of these. Now, obviously, these are American aircraft, but these were, of course, produced and given, or actually not given, actually, I guess sold or actually deployed. Let's use that word, deployed, here in Canada, because certainly Canada's air defense and the U.S. air defense are very much integrated. But this is certainly a beautiful day, and here we see some of the older jet aircraft. And there we see the big fuel tanks there at the edge of the wings and the straight wing early jet aircraft. Now, the engine that's used in some of these early jet aircraft was the Orenda, and we have a very nice model of the Orenda, which we're going to take a look at in just a moment. And here we see one example of some of the aircraft that were being used. Some of these were primarily used as training aircraft, but certainly there we see an F-18. Here we see a series of helicopters, and there we see the Chinook, and there we see the Huey helicopter. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the avionics and engines are removed from these aircraft, and so we're looking just at the shell, but we get an idea here of the history of aviation and its contribution to air defense there in the very northern part of North America, which would, of course, be Canada. Quite an impressive display. And so there we see that dual rotor Chinook helicopter. Certainly something that's quite iconic, used for many years, and certainly a very popular helicopter used not only for military but oftentimes search and rescue and civilian applications. Okay. And let's see. It looks like we're getting ready to take a look at the jet engine that's on display. Apparently, originally it was inside the building, but they decided to move it out, and this is the Orenda. This was quite an impressive cutaway, I must say, and it actually, you can actually reach in, and it's a single shaft turbojet engine, so you could actually spin the shaft. There we're going into the dual rotor Chinook helicopter. Of course, obviously a lot of the machinery and avionics is removed, but there we get an idea what this helicopter was like. And certainly this was used during the Vietnam era. And there we move outside.